Call of Duty Black Ops 2, a game that many people even to this day call iconic. Everyone loved the multiplayer, the campaign was amazing, then there's zombies. Now everyone calls Black Ops 2 Zombies amazing, but was it always amazing at launch? Well, at launch we had Transit, which everyone liked at the time, but now isn't looked back so fondly. Then we had Nuketown Zombies, which also people didn't like so much. Then after that we had Diarize, which also isn't really that good on the map, and people started to fall out of love with the game. But then, after all the darkness, came the light. In April 2013, Mob of the Dead released. Mob of the Dead was a saving grace for Black Ops 2. If they released another bad map, everyone might have stopped playing zombies. So that's why in this video, I'm going to take you over the history and evolution of Mob of the Dead. So let's get right into it. Mob of the Dead takes place in Alcatraz in the 1930s in the San Francisco Bay. It's a very eerie and creepy prison. When you spawn in the afterlife, and you actually get to res yourself. Now, since Mob of the Dead's a pretty big map, I'll just get right to it, and I'll show you all the major parts of the map. So once you open this door, it brings you up to a place where you actually get to feed a dog, and this gives you the Hell's Retriever, which is actually pretty good for high rounds. There's also a B-2 on the wall, so, if you like that, you can go and buy it too. So after you're done feeding the dog, you have two choices. You can go right, and this leads you to the warden's office. This is where Speed Cole is located, and occasionally the box. There's also an Uzi wallby, which is pretty good for points. There's also a plane part here as well. Now, if you turned left instead of going right, this will bring you towards the cafeteria, where there's an MP5 wallby, and there's also the laundry room downstairs. The cafeteria is a pretty nice training spot. There's also a door that brings you near the roof. Now, if you open that door, it brings you to an acid gas trap and another dog. There's also a dead shot, but no one cares for that. It also brings you up to the roof. Now, going onto the roof is where the plane would be. You need to get all 6 plane parts so you can build this thing, and it'll bring you to Pack-a-Punch. I'll show you that in a bit. Now, if you go downstairs where the laundry room is through the basement, you can end up on the outside of the prison, where there's a Thompson wallby, and there's also a buildable where you can build a shield. Now, they also end up teasing Mule Kick and PhD, which is kind of messed up, but it's also fine. There's also this thing called the gondola. It brings you to the upstairs side of the prison as well. Now, when you fly the plane, it crashes, and you end up on the Golden Gate Bridge where Pack-a-Punch is. It's a very small spot, but you can train here all you want. Now, Mob of the Dead is pretty creepy for the 1930s prison. You got the bodies and the bags and all that. But let's move on to the next game and see if Mob of the Dead changes. So the next time Mob of the Dead appears is actually in Revelations in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now, it is only one part, and that's actually the part that connects to the cafeteria and the cafeteria itself. Now, there's not a whole lot to this part, but you can actually find Weasel's hat in this part of the map, which is pretty cool. Now, going into the cafeteria, you can see that the box is actually on the right side of the wall and not where it used to be, and you can't go upstairs to where the roof would be. But besides that, you can still train here if you want. There's also a Mule Kick, but, waste of points. Anyway, let's move on to the final appearance of Mob of the Dead and see what it looks like. The next time Mob of the Dead would appear would be in Black Ops 4, which came out in October 2018. Now, they actually renamed the map to Blood of the Dead, and you have to play as Richtofen, Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai. Now, they actually expanded upon the map, making it a bit bigger. So, I'll show you those areas, along with the major parts of the actual Mob of the Dead. So, once you leave spawn and turn on power and go to the catwalk, you end up outside the prison. Here you will actually see Brutus, which is pretty cool, and you gotta fight your way inside. A bunch of hellhounds actually end up spawning too. Now, once you've made it inside, you actually end up in the old spawn of Mob of the Dead. And it's basically the exact same with just a few minor changes. Like the map is covered with a no way out sign. Now, where you feed the dog is pretty much the same too, except there's no B-23R, and I don't believe you get to feed the dog in this part. I don't quite remember because I haven't played very much of Blood of the Dead, but where Electric Cherry would be isn't here no more. The buildable is still here as well, and you got the walkway and all that stuff to the roof. The gondola is still here, which is pretty nice. The main building of Mob of the Dead is literally the exact same with just a few minor changes. So I'll just show you a couple of the true major spots, like down here and on the roof. So once you make it down the steps, the first thing you'll notice is it's all the same, honestly. You got the dog spot, which once again, I don't think you can feed. You got the buildable. Actually, the Tommy gun even returned as well. Although the plane part isn't here and you can't access that because there is no plane in this version. And the dock where PhD and Mule Kick would be is actually broken, but you can still see PhD, but Mule Kick's in the water. Now, coming up to the cafeteria, you can see it's the exact same. In Revelations, it is quite different for some reason, but it's because it's just probably more open. The box is in the same spot, Mule Kick is in there, you got the wall buys and all that stuff. You can trade here if you want, it's pretty good. Now, before I show you the rooftop, there is one more spot that I want to show you, which is actually new. You go to where Speak Hole used to be, you can see that there's this hole in the wall, and it actually brings you out to the warden's house. It's a very small little area, but you can camp in here if you want, though it's probably a death trap and I wouldn't recommend it. But you can actually put your blender gat in the fireplace and like turn it into like fire gat, something like that, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really play enough Blood of the Dead, so I don't know too much. But anyway, I'll show you the roof now. So going onto the roof, you can see that the plane's gone, and Pack-a-Punch is actually here too. The rest of the roof is pretty much the same, but you can't actually access the Golden Gate Bridge, which kind of sucks, but you know, Blood of the Dead isn't that great of a map. Anyway, that has been the evolution of Mount the Dead. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking or subscribing. Anyway, see you in the next one. Peace.